Alrighty, hello everybody. So we're just going to be kind of doing a little recorded session. This is Shalane. She is a life and personal trainer. She's a life coach and personal trainer, and she works with energy and meditation and learning how to move energy through your body to help reduce stress, which is phenomenal and something that's super important for women with endometriosis. Just because more stress that you have in your body, the higher your cortisol, the more inflammation that you have. And so our main goal is decreasing inflammation. So this is going to be very, very powerful. So yes, Shalane is phenomenal.
Thank you. That's such a sweet little welcome. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I've learned that over time, like between being a personal trainer and a yoga teacher and stuff like that, that usually the mind comes first and then the physical body responds. So especially with something like endometriosis, we were just chatting that like that disconnect between mind and body can become larger and larger the longer that you're struggling, the more doctor's appointments you go to. And so we're just going to kind of start with, the way that I usually coach is through developing a meditation process or some type of routine, some type of movement, and then also some type of mindfulness, journaling, that type of thing. Because what happens is when you're feeling some of these emotions and stuff like that that come up, they get energetically lodged in the body. So I'm going to start with movement, just because teaching yoga and training and stuff like that is my first go-to. Is, you feel better when you're able to move, when your body is able to move fluidly and feel normal. And when you're having a flare-up, sometimes that doesn't happen. So first thing is, when you are feeling good is to move, you get the energy moving and stuff like that. But what happens is when you are having a flare-up, your body, and this comes from all perspectives, not just like endometriosis. It can be, when you're driving and somebody cuts you off and you immediately get really angry. Your response to that, you feel it, right? So it feels in the entire body. You feel hot, clammy, your palms get sweaty. Sometimes you feel a little flushed. You say, you're seeing red or whatever. Like what happens is when you break that down to like an atomic level, okay, so your atoms and stuff like that make up the hormonal release vibrate at a certain frequency. So the atoms that make up hormones that are associated with like depression and sadness vibrate at a lower frequency. The hormones released with that extreme emotion, like anxiety, happiness, like when you're in love and you have the butterflies, or when you're angry, things like that, elicit a really high vibrational release. So what happens is when that happens, if the body does not actually use that high energetic release, it gets stored. So most people are familiar at this point, this day and age, with like the chakra system and things like that going up your spine. So you have what's called like an energetic or a subtle body. So when you have these releases of extreme energy, if you have some type of blockage within your chakra system, it literally cannot move. So somebody who suffers from endometriosis or any type of like sexual abuse when they were younger and stuff like that, in your chakra, right, is located right there, and it's one that has to do with creation. So a lot of times that gets blocked. It means that as you're responding to things, it no longer can flow freely through that area. So what then can happen is then it doesn't flow freely to the other chakras as well and to the rest of your body. So movement is a way to release some of these buildups. So, but a lot of times we don't pay attention to some of this energy that shifts within the body because we're so used to being overstimulated. Like look at social media, computers, TV, even the way that our lives are lived are very, very fast paced in comparison to when you look at more ancient civilizations and some of their practices. Their lives were so much more slow. There's a lot more of, you know, ceremonies where there's like chanting and herbal medicine and stuff like that, because they're very, very aware of what's going on in their basic energetic body. So now as we go into like, okay, you're having a flare up or something like that, and your energy is getting blocked through that area, you need something, you need a tool to help release it. So not only is yoga super great for that, and weightlifting, anything like that that actually gets your body moving, it gets your blood flowing, it gets your energy to be broken up. A lot of times certain postures and things like that are actually designed to compress areas within the body to help release energetic buildup. It's like when you go, I don't know if you've ever been to like a yin yoga class or like a restorative class, lots of deep stretching. A lot of your emotions are stored in your hips right there in that second chakra, and you sit there, a lot of people cry afterwards, and you're like, damn it, why am I always crying? Always crying after yoga. All the feelings. It's because your body, most of us have that area that is tough for us to keep free and to be clear. When you're suffering from something like this, then you're like, okay, you do have a tendency to get stuck because all of your energy wants to reside there. It's where your focus is. As soon as you're like the pain and stuff like that, like you automatically revert to a energetic response within your body because of the hormones, because of the way you're feeling. And so when they get lodged down in there, then you're like, how do I get them unstuck? Right? Like, this is why, you know, I'm having problems feeling connected to my partner. This is why I'm having problems feeling creative at work. This is why I'm having problems kind of in this where you feel very rooted to other people and kind of community and creativity and things like that. That stems from that area. So anyone who struggles with something like that, I like to definitely encourage them to do things like yoga and things like that that are going to help your energetic body. But I also like to go through a meditation. So if you don't already have some type of meditative practice, it allows your mind to be clear the more you do it. So when you're sitting in meditation, it is your mind's job to think. So don't ever feel like, I can't get my monkey mind to be quiet. You know, everybody's does that. And it is totally normal. The way to feel like you're more in control of your own mind is actually to acknowledge the thinking and to just bring it back to your center. I want to walk you guys through a meditation that you can use to help break up some of the energetic blockages that are happening. And it has to do a lot with visualization. We're going to use some compression techniques, like using the muscles inside of your stomach to compress some of the chakras that are right there, so that way you can release them so that they can, over time, you'll feel it more free flowing. And it's something, especially if you're struggling with endometriosis, that you can do literally daily. It helped me so much with, I felt definitely a deep disconnection to my femininity, as far as like my feminine power and feminine energy. I very much live in the like, and a lot of like entrepreneurs and stuff like that live in this more masculine doing, constantly achieving. I had like a long to-do list. Like I felt weird to just be and to just like go with the flow and be more relaxed and spend time with friends. And I was like, but I have all this stuff. And the more that I started to do something like this, a meditation that really connected me to my creative source and my chakra that was a little bit blocked, I was actually able to create a lot more within my business. And I recognized the pull of the doing and the just being. So we're going to start with the meditation. I will walk you through it. It'll be completely guided. My eyes will be open, but your eyes are going to be closed. So if you're sitting in a chair, you can sit there. If you can hear me, you can lay down. If that's more comfortable, easy seat with like your hips elevated, like on a pillow or something like that. But just find an easy seat, taking a moment to close your eyes down. Relax through your hands, your shoulders. We're just gonna Slowly move up the body from your feet, noticing if you're sitting, the soles of your feet, how they connect to the ground. Noticing your ankles, maybe your shins and your knees. Moving up towards your hips. Noticing if you're feeling any sensations. Moving up through your torso. Up through your rib cage, your spine. As your vertebrae are stacking one on top of the other, do you feel supported? Allowing your shoulders to relax, your fingertips. Making your way up to your neck. Maybe relaxing your shoulders down away from your ears, releasing any tension. Relaxing through your jaw. Maybe unclench your teeth, releasing the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Moving up to your eyes. Let them be soft. Unfurrow your brow. Allowing the forehead to relax. Keeping your eyes closed, we're going to begin to observe our breath. So as you inhale, feeling your ribs expand, your belly. As you exhale, feel the compression of your belly button flying up and in, closer to your spine. With every inhale, noticing the coolness of your breath through your nostrils, down maybe the back of your throat. And as you exhale, the warmth just above your upper lip. Breathwork has some amazing benefits. Breathing into sensations. It's the one thing that we have control over at all times, but can also be automatic with no thought. So if you notice your mind wandering, or your thoughts, or your breath shifting, just refocus on every inhalation and every exhalation. Taking just a few deep breaths can reduce your blood pressure almost instantly. So allowing your breath to be soothing, almost like wind through trees or ocean waves. At this point, you may be noticing some other sensations through the body. If your mind begins to wander there, just allowing the wandering to happen, acknowledge it, and refocus on your breath. We're going to do some visualization. So I want you to imagine that just underneath the earth where your feet or sits bones are planted, there is a ball of light. This is your earth chakra. It's what keeps you rooted to the earth. What makes you feel connected. You ever notice how walking on sand or barefoot outside in the grass feels good and almost calming? It's because of the energetic connection that we have to the earth. So just observing that ball of light that's anchoring you there. We're going to move up to your second chakra or your root chakra at your pelvic floor. So we're going to begin to decompress our root chakra, basically engaging your pelvic floor or like a Kegel exercise. So a lot of times these are very hard to hold for long periods of time, so continue to breathe. If you've lost the pressure, just bringing it back. Allowing that ball of light to move up right at your pelvic floor. Still creating the compression. We're going to move up to just below your rib cage, behind your belly button. You're going to engage your third chakra, your sacral chakra. So you're going to press your belly button to your spine. So at this point, your pelvic floor is engaged, your sacral chakra is engaged, and you're really pressing it to the back of your spine. There's almost a slight tip of the pelvis. Feeling your belly button fly up and in, continuing to breathe. If your breath has hastened, just slow it down. Compression still happening. As you release the compression, inhale, feeling the energy flying up through the spine and out the crown of your head. Feeling your connection to your crown chakra. We'll walk through that one more time. So again, visualizing the light. It's almost like a beam of light that you're constructing. So it's starting at the base where you're connected to the earth. Continuing to breathe as you engage your pelvic floor to compress your root chakra. So now the light is moving up into your sacral chakra as you press your belly button to your spine, compressing your sacral chakra as well. So allowing any pent up negative energy that has been stored here to be pressed. And as you take a deep inhale, releasing it up through the spine and out the crown of your head. A lot of times it's very common to feel almost a whoosh of sensation of lightheartedness. Just feeling that light encompass you. Taking just a few more breaths. So in order to keep our chakra system from being open and exposed to other energies infiltrating our aura or space, we need to close it back down. So starting at the root where it left us, we're going to bring it down through your third eye, which is at the back of your head. Bring it down through your throat chakra, through your heart, your solar plexus, the bottom of your rib cage, and back down through your sacral behind your belly button, your root chakra at your pelvic floor, and then finally pressing it back down into the earth so that you feel connected. Then take a deep inhale together. Exhale to blink your eyes open. So if you've never meditated before, a lot of times a guided meditation is kind of the best way to go about developing some type of practice. But the more that you meditate, the more that you're able to notice shifts within just your energetic body itself. So when you're having these moments of that you're struggling, you're waiting for, a call back from the doctor, and you have these feelings of anxiousness or something like that starting to arise, what will happen is your body then wants to respond the same way. So when your chakras are blocked, it doesn't allow for that free flowing. So it does get stuck in places. Doing exercises like this allow it to free flow. So that way you can manage your emotional reactivity just as well as your physical symptoms. So the physical symptoms are the last way for the body to say, hey, I need help. Things were going on internally and on a cellular level and on an atomic level way before they manifested in the physical. So taking it back and kind of scaling down to where you can pay attention to the smaller pieces of the puzzle allow you to be able to deal with the physical and the last manifestation of your symptoms. It also creates a sense of mind-body connection, which is so huge for anyone that physically feels so disconnected because they don't have control, right? Like when you have a flare up, there's like, you're like, I can do this to help ease my pain. I can, do a heating pad. I can do this. I can, this I notice triggers it. You can do all these preemptive things. But the reality is at some point during that, you're like, why? Like there's always that, why me? How did this happen? What if I would have done something differently? And that creates a lot of self-hate and this mind talk of like unworthiness and things like that. And those are all rooted in your root and sacral chakra. All those feelings of unworthiness will sit there and just pool. So doing exercises like this that you can compress them and then release them will help you when you have those moments of a flare up, not resort to the mind automatically shifting into a negatively charged like energy response. It will be more of like, I'm doing what I can and what I know is best for my body. I love my body. It supports me daily. It allows me to do all of these really wonderful things. This is not, end all be all. It's not a death sentence. It is just something that I have to experience. And some of that experience is necessary. And some of that experience helps you grow and look at how, you going through endometriosis allows you to connect to other women. Like that is something that is so invaluable that if you did not have, you would not be able to connect. And so there's ways that when you're paying attention to how your body feels inside versus the physical manifestation outside, it allows you to keep that deeper connection and allows you to not shift so quickly into some of these negative self-talk places. It's also a really great way for me too. Like I'm like, you know what? I don't want to listen to everybody else, what everybody else has to say. I don't want to look on social media, what everybody else is doing. Comparison is definitely the thief of joy. And and honestly, if you're in meditation and you're just coming back to my breath, just my breath, like it allows you to feel like I am whole. I am breathing, I am living, I am like worthy, and those types of things, or having a mantra. You don't necessarily have to do the exercise that we just did together, but finding like a few phrases that you just say on repeat over and over and over during your entire meditation. It can be 5 minutes. Like I don't meditate for, hours on hours on hours. I literally set my timer for like 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, cool. When the bell goes off, I'm done. And it's 5 minutes of quiet. It's 5 minutes I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing. I'm not comparing myself. I'm not doing any of those things. I'm literally just allowing my thoughts to kind of wander, just acknowledge them, come back, and just be very, very present and not get distracted by all the other. Another thing that I think is so great that you do is the journaling. That's another thing that I recommend to like all of my clients, because I'm like, if you can sit, especially for the gratitude part, I love that. I love when you share that because it's seriously day and night difference. You cannot, I was reading the other day and it was like, what was it talking about? They were talking about you energetically can only receive what you have available. So if you don't already feel grateful for the car you have, how do you expect to afford another one? Mm-hmm. How do you expect to, find the partner that's going to love you for who you are if you don't love you for who you are? You get, you have a flare up and you start all this self-hate talk. How do you expect to find a partner that feels, you're going to end up with somebody that feels like that about you because that's how you feel about you. Mm-hmm. So writing down things that, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. Sometimes it's literally just like, I'm grateful for today being over. It was hard. I made it through. I'm so proud of myself. The end. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be like, like well, and then I'm so grateful for nature, and I walked outside and the birds were humming. I'm like, please, let's do this. Like, listen, my
Let's be
kids did it
realistic.
for 45 minutes, so it was really great. Like, and the journaling helps your mind to reprogram the feeling of, I am grateful for my body. I am grateful for all that it can do, all the movement that it can do. I'm grateful that I can sit here and meditate. I'm grateful that my spine is intact enough that I can sit on this chair for 5 minutes and not be in an excruciating pain. You know, like all of those things rewire your brain to be in a more positive response field, as opposed to automatically going to those lower energetic responses that then shift your entire body and get stuck in those cycles. So I hope this was like helpful. I was like, listen, we're gonna meditate, everyone. Walk you through it. But it's seriously like being mindful of just your subtle body completely changes how you interact in the rest of your life. So the more you can connect to who you are and not worry, not let anything define you, I think the more you feel empowered and really like you have the tools in your tool belt. Like, okay, like when you're like, oh, why me? You're like, nope, that's not what I want. And you get back on your mantra. I am worthy. I am this. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to take 2 minutes. I'm just going to breathe, you know, and having those tools are so, so helpful. So.
Oh, it's incredible. This was amazing. So helpful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to share this with you guys. So.
Yeah.
I hope you loved this episode as much as I did. And if you're new to this, welcome to the Endometriosis Empowerment Series for Endo Awareness Month 2021. All month, I'm going to be posting 2 trainings per week throughout the month of March in my podcast, on my YouTube, and in my Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, you can click the button below this podcast episode to join and get connected with other people in the group that are also doing the series and who are on a similar healing journey as you. So throughout the month, I'm going to be posting trainings from top experts in areas such as excision surgery, hormones, fertility, energy healing, and so many more to help you feel more empowered in your healing journey with endometriosis. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye, babe.